Our family calls these stories full brain stories. And the reason is because they access multiple different parts of your brain. They access the thinking, linear part because they tell the events of the story, but they also access the emotional parts because I am trying to be intentional about sharing what is going on in my thoughts and in my emotions. Anyone can tell these stories. There's a recipe, and our children do it at the dinner table. Our youngest child is 5, and she's great at telling these stories. The important thing is to include how you're feeling in your body and how you're feeling in your emotions. So you can tell a story. Oh, this guy, yeah, today I was driving and he pulled out right in front of me and I almost rear-ended him, but I was able to respond and I let him, like, he went forward, I went forward, and everybody was fine. Okay, so that's one way to tell a story. That gives you information. That does not do anything for our relational connection, or it does a little for our relational connection, and very little for equipping my listener in building maturity, building relational maturity. So I'm going to tell you the same story in a more full-brained way. I was driving today and some guy pulled right out in front of me and I almost hit him. And I slammed on the brakes and my heart is beating super fast and I got really tense in my arms and I was furious. And I wanted to yell at him, but my kids were in the car, and so I was trying to be a good example to them, and I'm also trying to be more patient when I'm driving. And so I caught myself, and I didn't say anything, but I was furious, and I was really angry, and that was really unsafe what he did. And but I realized, okay, yeah, we're safe. And I started to come down from that. And I remembered my kids were in the car and they actually didn't even notice anything. And I was able to tune back into their conversation and listen to what they were saying and just take a minute and admire how sweet and cute and wonderful my kids are and how much I love to be with them. And that really helped me return to joy from being fearful and angry. So you see, I told you the same story, and one way was conveying information, and another way was telling you what was going on in my heart and my mind. Now, that was a success story. I behaved like myself. Sometimes we don't behave like ourselves. Can we benefit from those kinds of stories? Absolutely. When we tell each other these kinds of stories, it builds bridges in our brains. So the story I just told you builds a bridge from fear or anger back to joy. And our brains are designed to be energized by joy. That we are designed to live by joy. Just like we have to have oxygen, we have to have joy. And so when we tell each other these stories, we are building maturity in one another. And whether the next time someone cuts you off in traffic, whether you remember this story in your conscious mind or not, I guarantee that you listening and engaging with me in that story built a little bit of maturity in this area. So the next time someone cuts you off, you're going to be able to return to joy a little bit more easily because you have consumed and taken in that story. Of course, it's so much better to tell these stories in person, but I'm thankful for technology and I'm thankful for this opportunity to serve people by sharing some of these stories.